Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is currently July 1st, 2020, and welcome to the very first episode of the J Money Talks podcast. How's it going? I am Jason Michael Johnson, also known as J Money. So this is the first time I've done a podcast before. This is something I've had thought of doing for quite a while. And I'm just finally just taking the plunge here. So I don't know how I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk like a bunch of topics. A few of them will pretty much be including sports, video games, probably some movies, stuff, comic books, and maybe anything that piques my mind, interest. There probably will be some Q&As and stuff in the future, but for now, this is just the first. This is the first podcast. I don't know how long these will be. Some will probably take an hour. Some take a little longer. So this is the beginning. You will pretty much hear this on SoundCloud. On SoundCloud, I'm also gonna have this here video recorded. This will be here on YouTube channel. Which is the J Money Talks channel. I'll be working on that in a bit later. So, we're going to go ahead and start on a topic. This topic I rather not do. I don't try to get into the side of politics. But yesterday in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, there was politics involved. And yesterday we got the announcement of, if you don't know, the big story was involving the Democratic primary in the U.S. Senate, where the state of Kentucky had to choose a nominee to take on the current senator, who is Mitch McConnell. And if you don't know who that is, Mitch McConnell is currently the Senate Majority Leader in the United States Senate. He is known in the great state of Kentucky as the Grim Reaper. He is known currently, and has been for years, the one man who is any bill that has been passed by like Democrats, by like any part of the Democratic House Representatives, he immediately just looks at the bill, has it in his desk, and he has held it hostage for quite possibly, I believe, years. He's been a part of the entire spectrum of things for probably, I believe, my entire childhood. I believe it's been years. He's been around directly. He was elected around in 1984 when around the same time as Ronald Reagan was re-electing as the president in the Republican Party, and he's been around for quite a long time. Right now, it's 35 years. 35 years, and this is a big thing that happened. So it is something that is huge. So one of the things is someone who has done a lot of harm to not just the state of Kentucky, but here in this entire country, because any bill that is going to make some significant changes has been pretty much blocked and or held hostage by McConnell. It's been, and a lot of people in this state, primarily this entire country, clearly wants him gone. And this year is probably the best chance to probably do so, because he is right now 78 years old, I believe, and he's been in office for 35 years. This is a big thing. This has been a bunch of terms. It's crazy. But he is someone that needs to be gone. So what happened was, if you don't know, Democratic Party had to not pick a nominee for the Senate to go up against McConnell, and yeah, the Democratic the Democratic establishment, the gatekeepers, I guess, chose this candidate by the name of Amy McGrath, who lives in Lexington, Kentucky. A retired fighter pilot for U.S. Air Force, and this lady is kind of not the best fit for Kentucky, honestly, in my opinion. And for a while, she's been, if you don't know, she has gotten major funds raised for and pretty much $41 million by a lot of tech firms. Like the Democratic National Party paid a good chunk, and believe a few universities outside of Kentucky, especially Harvard somehow, which kind of makes no sense, but it's weird. I don't know. I don't know why you would fund I don't know why a college that is in Massachusetts would care about an election in Kentucky, but I digress. So it was for a bit, a lot of people pretty much saw her as the lone frontrunner because you've seen ads in the papers, on television, on radio. Pretty much you thinking to yourself, okay, this is like the one person we have here. It looks like this is who we got. But there was not much options that was heard. So not much options. Then, just last month, if you didn't know, because of the entire recent George Floyd protest, and most importantly here in the city of Louisville, the Breonna Taylor protests that have been going on, one person stepped up, and this is a good man, a respectful man who pretty much grew up probably in the western part of the city of Louisville, which is the poorest part of the city, and pretty much his name was Charles Booker. He is currently a part of the Kentucky House of Representatives, I believe. He is probably the youngest black Kentucky legislator in the state of Kentucky in 90 years. It is a big thing. And when this protest was going on, the entire state, he's been to the protests. He's been to the protests, been in the front lines, pretty much been around when the protests were at its peak. They were throwing tear gas and shooting rubber bullets at people and whatnot. And this is something that he has been on the front lines on, and this is the past month of the protests. He ended up becoming a contender. Started to contend. He was at this point. Beforehand, he did start his campaign earlier in January, but it was pretty much quite not in the media, in the mainstream media, mostly in social media and a few other things, but not entirely full scale. But within the month before this election in May and late May, early June, he ended up being more active, and he ended up having more of ads coming in hey, I'm someone who grew up in this city of Louisville, in pretty much the poorest part of city of Louisville, and I am here for the people. He believes in pretty much the main things like a Bernie Sanders type of thing, the free healthcare, universal healthcare, Green New Deal. That's been a big thing. Voting rights, and a bunch of things that I believe needs to be done. I think should be more or less addressed in a way, and that is something that needs to be happen. I believe it's something that should occur, and yeah, but just recently, of course, the election. He made these polls in an election, and when he's about to say Kentucky, when the coronavirus pandemic has happened, there was pretty much the only one few ways you could vote was pretty much mail-in ballot, absentee ballots, and then when they actually decided to do in-person voting, they decided to help cut down the number of polling places you can go to. And here in the state of Kentucky, there's at least on average 3,700 polling places in the state of Kentucky. So when the pandemic happened, in order to keep a distance and shorten the amount of people I guess try not to spread the virus out and all this stuff. That's, I guess, the excuse they made. They decided to cut down the number of polling places from 3,700 to about 200 in the state. 200 in the state. And the big thing about this is they made here in Louisville. Louisville is quite possibly the largest city in the state of Kentucky. There's over 1 million people, about 1 million, or over 1 million people here. So one of the things is they decided to have this in one place, and that was at the Expo Center. And the big thing about this is, what was bad about this is, here in the city of Louisville, about 60% of us, 6% of the city is of African American descent. So they decided to take this. So yes, and they took one polling place in a city that housed 600,000 African Americans. In this city decided to make one polling place, and it was an interesting thing. When election day happened, people did come in. People did vote. I say that 1 million people in the state of Kentucky voted. 1 million, which is 29% of registered voters. Here in the city of Louisville, 88,000 alone voted in this primary, which is huge because that is the biggest. That's bigger than when Barack Obama was running in the primary in Louisville in Democratic primary in 2008 when he got elected. So first got elected. So yeah, that is the big thing there. But was something that happened but that's a little side note there. The big story about this now was that because of the one polling place in Louisville and them cutting it down stuff, a lot of people believed it was voter suppression. No, this is some kind of voter suppression, something in the lines of Atlanta, because there is because the amount of people in people in population and all that stuff. I don't believe it really was, because beforehand the governor of Kentucky, Ann Beshear, gave people time to mail-in ballots, absentee ballots, and no excuse absentee ballots, pretty much. And that was something they did 2-3 months beforehand, so around March, April-ish. So I think that's what they did, and that's in. Well, there has been reports that there have been people who have not received their ballots till it was too late. So that's a subject in and of itself. But yeah, I was watching the votes. I was wading through all the ballots and stuff, and then yesterday happened. We saw what happened, and we're just going through some of the stuff. I'm just like, okay, I'm like, some things said McGrath won, some things said Booker won, so I'm like, okay, you know what, it's like, it's too early to call this right now. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna turn off my phone, because I'm like, before I go to the gym, I was like, let me turn my Twitter and like Twitter and like Facebook and stuff off, because I don't know who's gonna win. I'm not gonna try watching news or anything. I'm gonna turn this off, and I'm gonna keep it off till around like 4:30, 5 o'clock ish. Because by that time, I think all the votes will be close to finish, and then you got a more just clear, concise reason who won. So around 5:30, 4:30, 5 o'clock ish, I went on Twitter, Facebook, and everything, and the result was that McGrath won. She won by about 2,000 votes, which is to me, I'm surprised at the results, but I've heard some reports that there were people whose ballots weren't counted, and there was also reports late that that ballots were rejected because of some missing flaps or lack of signatures, and like a few other things. It's which is kind of suspect there, because that is and they said this like laid into like that process, but like I think 6,000 votes in Fayette County, which is pretty much Lexington and a couple other cities in that general area, their votes did not count. So it is questionable to me. It is quite questionable. I believe it's something that is going to be looked into. I'm hoping that they look into that, because that is quite suspect. But yeah, it was a big thing. So what was my initial thoughts to it? Who did I vote for at that time? Well, now I think since the thing's over, I can at least disclose that. I personally, in my opinion, voted for Charles Booker, and when it initially happened, I was looking at results, and like some of the stuff was going back and forth, like, oh, McGrath's leading by a few, and I'm like, okay, it's still too early. Oh, Booker's winning. I'm like, oh, that's good to know. Let's see if this momentum builds up, and then builds up and whatnot, and see how this goes. And yeah, and then I was like hearing some of the new stuff, and I was like, then when it was clear that McGrath won, and then I was looking at the stuff of like, okay, there's probably something sketchy there. Am I upset at the fact that McGrath won? I'm not upset who would have won it. There is a way I probably would support whoever won it regardless, but this is something I am kind of questioning on, because the person that won isn't really someone that has really a true concern over the issues that is going on. I'm going to be honest here with all of you. I personally think what the Democrat Party did in the support of McGrath, like G-Sport, they really, like, in a way chose Amy McGrath to be the nominee. Like, it is clearly obvious that they did, because like she's gotten like $41 million in a bank, and a lot of things is she is someone who's practically going to not make like those try to make the significant changes or push for those significant changes to occur. She is clearly going to she is trying to label herself. She's been labeled, in this case, a pro-Trump Democrat, which means that I am not really going to try to at least push for the changes, but at least we'll compromise with Trump, and I guess, or something along the lines of that. I'm not entirely sure what that means by pro-Trump Democrat or whatever like that. But to me, it's like it kind of shows more of what the separation of like the Democratic Party in general to what people really, to the people. It's like a more never step of clearly in the wrong direction here. Um, with like, I think it's like not just Democrats in the state, but also in the entire country, because a lot of the things that has been going on recently involving the pandemic, the protests, Black Lives Matter stuff, and all that stuff, it's kind of showing like a difference of opinion on how two separate types. Like a Democratic Party is kind of in a way split in a way, because you got the traditionalists who are mostly like, I believe 35 and up, or 35 and up, most of the case, like the seniors and stuff, like who pretty much are want to stick to this, and like, well, we'll think, okay, like, hey, maybe we should do some change. Let's do that like another 5-6 years or something, or wait till we get till we get a Democrat in office, then we'll probably do some changes. But it's and the other side, which I'm going to lump myself in this category, and that's the 18 to 34-year-olds who personally says, hey, we need to change some stuff, and we can't just not do anything about it. We can't wait 5-6 years. Like this stuff going on with global warming and like the universal healthcare system. This is some stuff that shouldn't really be changed like 5-6 years down the road. This is something that has to be changed like right now. Like we can't just keep dilly-dallying around. We gotta do this change right now. Like, this is something that needs to be changed in a drastic way. And it is right now a clash of the ideals of a Democratic Party right now. This is what's dividing us in a way. And one of the things I think is if McGrath is clearly the nominee, that's fine. One of the things is I just looked at the Courier Journal earlier today where they talked about the results and stuff, and one of the things what the paper said was McGrath aims to unite the Democratic Party, which I completely agree with her on that, because right now you do got an established base who is going to vote blue no matter who. The problem now you got to deal with is you're dealing with the 18 to 40-year-old demographic who, personally, and I'm just going to say this here, when it comes to our political ideologies, we don't fully vote blue no matter who. We are practically independent. We're pretty much in the middle. A lot of us are pretty much in the middle. But what we do believe is that our political ideologies are tied in different ways. We side with the Democratic Party, majority of youth. I know there are some of you who are Republican, who are a part of the Republican Party, 18 to 34-year-olds who are a part of the Republican Party. So I understand that. Some of y'all are a part of that party. So, but a good, vast majority of us lean Democrat because we believe in like the progressiveness, the socialism type of stuff. Like, hey, like free healthcare, education, college being free, no more student loans and being in this crazy student debt crisis, and like you know, right to, maybe like affordable housing and a bunch of other things, and increasing the minimum wage. And that's the big thing. So a lot of us side with the Democratic Party. So, and one of the things is we are willing to support people who actually side with that ideology, like those ideologies like us. So what happened was here, or yesterday, the Democratic Party pretty much decided to look past a candidate who was willing to listen to that 18 to 34-year-old demographic, who is clearly going to be the future of the party. And instead of, this guy seems like someone who would help with the 18 to 34-year-olds that we need to bring up and we need to go out and vote, right? So instead of doing that, they chose a candidate who is clearly does not feel that ideals. So as a result of it, a lot of people right now, a lot of you people my age, I have some friends who went out and voted, who was really supportive of this man, really of Charles Booker, and instead, a lot of people now are saying to themselves, you know what, screw the Democratic Party and screw the Republican Party. They clearly don't care about the people. I don't feel like voting. I'm not going to vote or whatever. I'm not voting blue no matter who, or I'm not going to vote for McConnell. So I'm just not going to vote whatsoever. So right now, this is the case scenario right now is Amy McGrath has to find a way to get that 18 to 34 demographic on her side. Because that group is crucial if you want some form of chance to beat McConnell. Because if you don't get that help, you are more than likely going to lose against McConnell. And it's going to be by a landslide. Clearly a landslide. And it is something that I personally believe is going to happen. Hopefully enough that the Democratic Party and I guess McGrath's campaign staff realizes that, finds a way to work around this, and does something about it. Because right now, the way I see it, they are more than likely not going to be able to beat McConnell or anything anytime soon right now. But there is 125 days left until that, till the general election, which is on November 3rd, happen. And so they got time. Hopefully before election day, and when when the first big debate comes, which I believe will probably be in September, I believe, she is ready to tackle some of those things and help unite the country, help unite the state to like, hey, you guys voted for me to be the nominee. I want to earn you guys' vote in November. And that's what I think she's going to have to do. Because right now, the way I see it, the entire state of Kentucky is right now, you're going to have to work a lot to get the vote for probably a lot of 18 to 34-year-olds. And right now, the way I see it, you clearly have lost this election off the jump. So, yeah. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, I am going to talk about the upcoming season, about sports returning in this coronavirus pandemic. So, don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. We'll be right back after these messages. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the J Money Talks podcast. We just got back from break. Decided to grab me a little snack and also have some extra drink. Some Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know what's been going on with y'all, but y'all be hoarding this shit like it's toilet paper when the beginning of this quarantine happened. Seriously, like every time I go to Kroger, I'm like try to see if there is more, and they somehow run out. I'm just saying, mind you guys, I don't know what you put in this bitch. I don't know if it's cocaine or something in here because y'all making motherfuckers addicted to this shit. Also, stay hydrated, kids. So, moving on. So, we're going to go into the sports stuff. And there's been a few things that have happened in sports. Quite recently, we're about to have baseball. Today is reporting day of Major League Baseball. Is going to be starting to report for a start of spring training. So, that's happening. Basketball, we're about to have basketball back over again in the NBA. It's coming back, and there's right now there are 22 teams in this. I know this one of teams I know that is still in this little hunt for that 8 seed is my Spurs, my San Antonio Spurs. Shout out. But yeah, that's going to be the big thing. Baseball's coming back. Football is expected to start on time. It looks like they might be going from limited to no capacity whatsoever, which I'm kind of like a little ashamed, which is a little saddening because your boy kind of wanted to go to a couple games, especially that Monday Night Football game between the Ravens and the Chiefs in Baltimore. The big stadium, and let me tell you, that game was a fun one. Tell you, going to a Ravens home game is an experience unlike any other. If you've never screamed loudly and never lost your voice, then going to a Ravens home game, let me tell you something. When I went in there, I had a good voice. My voice is fine. By the time I left, I had no voice. My voice was shot. It took me 3 days after I got back home to recover. So, heads up, your voice will be shot. Give you guys that. That needs to be a tagline. Caution, your voice will be shot after the end of this game. Buckle up. So, for Baltimore, get someone there. Baltimore, for real. Like, if you guys are going to do something, I highly recommend y'all stock up on cough drops. Like, make Hall's a sponsor somehow or something, because y'all make my voice shot in this hell. So, okay, let's move on. Yes, baseball is coming back. The big story in the NFL currently is that the New England Patriots, that evil empire, Falaliluelo, has officially signed Cam Newton to a 1-year deal. And right now, it is huge news because now they pretty much are now a contender again for the AFC title. And do I think it is a big thing? I think they can probably be a contender. They have a chance to be a contender because the thing about Cam, he is not going to be worried about running with that football. There might be some set plays where they could. I don't know how the New England Patriots thing is, but I think they're going to go with pass. They're going to tell him, like, look, Cam, don't worry. This is your got a year deal. It's a 1-year deal, by the way. So, in this case, I'm probably going to thinking to myself, alright, Cam, you're just going to do is just work on throwing the ball. Work on throwing that football. And he's going to be in a good camp. You know, Bill Belichick had Tom Brady, of course. Tom Brady, you know, everyone knows that he's the GOAT. You know, GOAT. If anyone doesn't know, he went to Tampa Bay. He is going to be in Tampa Bay. He is, so now this is the big thing is see how this is, because the big thing is in this case, because of Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and leaving the Patriots. The question with the Patriots is with Bill Belichick, how is he going to get this team to not only be just as good, if not better, than Brady? Because the last thing I think Belichick wants is to be at least be bad or be worse than what Brady could be, because right now it is a big thing, and I think he wants to step up and prove to Brady, like, yeah, you are a system quarterback, and Brady wants to prove that he is not that system quarterback that he is labeled as. So that's gonna be that's a big storyline that's in that season. But yeah, that's gonna be a big thing. That was a big story that broke out on Monday. I think it was Monday, I believe, because one of the things was earlier was that and on the same day, the New England Patriots was fined $1.1 million and lost a third round pick for the 2021 NFL draft, which for a third round pick in the draft, usually you find decent players in that class. Like, probably some of the best players came from that class, and that is a big loss there, because forfeiture of a draft pick there, because of that. If you don't know what it was because they were caught for filming on the sideline of a Bengals game, Bengals versus Browns game, and week 14, I think week 14 of the season, which is quite interesting considering the fact that the coach, considering the fact that it was a thing, the try to cover it up this was a series. This like film crew is part of, like, I think the New England Patriots like YouTube channel, I believe. Every team has like their own like YouTube channel and stuff, and it's like this little series they do where they go to people who do like scouts and like film stuff, and film like scouts doing their job and all this stuff, breaking it down and stuff, and they got somehow the footage, a majority of it end up going towards, was focused more or less primarily on the sideline of Bengal sideline. So some scary guy caught him. There was footage and everything, and so yeah, that was a big thing. This is not the first time they did it. If you are following NFL like I do, then you probably heard of Deflategate, which is the Patriots doing that against primarily the New York Jets and I think a couple other teams. But this is the second time they've done something like this. This isn't the first big Patriot scandal. Of course, we got Deflategate, the big controversy there involving the 2014 AFC title game, I believe. It was the 2014-2015 AFC title game, and the Patriots ended up getting caught in like underinflating footballs, and Tom Brady kind of got suspended 4 games, mainly because he decided to destroy his cell phone, which had possible evidence. So yeah, that was a big thing there. So to me, this is a big thing here. I believe the Patriots are contenders? Probably yes. I mean, the AFC East is a questionable thing, but they still will have a challenge on their hands, because they still have one big division rival, and that is, of course, they are dealing with the Buffalo Bills, who is a good chance, who could give them a run for money. And I do believe this, they did have a chance to take the division from the Patriots last year, and they lost in week 16, I believe. Week 16, the pretty much AFC was on the line there. So I think the Bills could be the top, could take them to limit. Then also the Baltimore Ravens do play them in the season, so they have a chance to play against the Canary. I do believe they might play the Chiefs, I think. I'm not sure. I gotta need to look at their schedule. But yeah, that's a big thing there. So that's a big thing in the NFL. I guess another big thing that I've heard is pretty much the of the Ravens, and of course Lamar Jackson, the MVP, my boy, my, you know. And before anyone gets an idea, I am a big Ravens fan, Baltimore Ravens fan. I got a Lamar Jackson jersey and a Ray Lewis jersey sitting in the closet right now, and I got a hat over there, and I have another hat downstairs, and behind this laptop here, I also got a Baltimore Ravens little photo frame over here. Looks like a helmet, and it's kind of like reflects and stuff. You can move around and stuff. So it has something like that. So I have that in the house. But yes, what are my thoughts about will the Ravens have a similar performance like this, and could they actually go to the Super Bowl? I think anyone can make a Super Bowl. It just depends on how things go that season, because injuries can happen any given Sunday. Like, let's say any given Sunday. So, yeah. So I think the Ravens do have a good chance, could finally reach over the hump. They probably could make that AFC title. It could make the AFC title appearance, and I've heard that they could. It means if they probably could face the Patriots, or the Chiefs. So I think the best thing is right now they still got a chance. We don't know how good the Bengals will be now because they drafted Joe Burrow. We don't know much about if the Browns finally realize that you need a coach that is confident and a GM who is confident also. So hopefully they might, who knows what they did to actually make this work. And of course the Steelers always is a threat. The defense always tough. And of course Ben is coming back from his career-threatening elbow injury, if you don't know. And this is the AFC North is going to be a questionable. Can they actually win the AFC North? That's going to be a big thing. There is, can the Ravens win that AFC North? That's a big step. And have they looked finally not going to look past their competition like they did with the Titans, according to Lamar Jackson? That's going to be the question there. Where the season's going to be interesting. I do know this. We'll be talking about this when we get closer to the season starts. So I think probably right around August we'll probably do some form of like a little preview. It'll be a little preview podcast, like breaking down like the divisions. So I think we'll probably do something there. I'll probably have some friends who can actually help me out with that subject, and we'll have a discussion about it and give a preview and what I think will happen. So stay tuned for more details on that. The NBA, let's move on to the NBA. We got an interesting thing here. I'm gonna take these off, I have to rock them all the time. But so in the NBA, where we started going on there, and right now, big thing is we have a bunch of players right now are opting out of the season because of staying with their family, and in some cases, I kind of want to opt out of this season because I want to still be a part of the protest going on with the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter protest, and a bunch of other things. That is a big thing that's been going on here, and that's something that's I kind of wanted to address and play a role in, and that's and I recommend that entirely. There's also a thing there now, like it's like if there's also a thing like Kyrie Irving. I don't know why he said this, and what he said is kind of interesting. Like he kind of wants to opt out of the season. He thinks that the NBA shouldn't have a season at this point, and there's also a thing like players should form our own league, which I'm like, I mean, they honestly could. I mean, they kind of could, but that's a questionable thing there. Jeez, man, that's a little harsh. But one of the things I've heard is they could do something where if something like this happens, like the owners could do is try and create like a hard salary cap for the team, and it's a big thing there. I think it's interesting. Um, I don't know much about the whole thing, much about like in the politics of basketball and stuff. It's just to me, I think if basketball does happen, and hopefully everything goes well with the whole thing with the bubble, with this bubble method, if it does work, then it means we know, okay, this is work. This can work. Sports can probably happen. We just need to do is just have like 2 or 3 host cities, hub cities, and have strength and cut it down to something like that. And that's what's going to be an interesting scenario right now. And that's an interesting thing. But there has been a couple players that have been tested positive for the COVID-19 test. For the Brooklyn Nets, Spencer Dinwiddie and DeAndre Jordan got tested positive for the COVID-19 test, so they've opted. They pretty much, of course, had to opt out. So that's one big thing. The Denver Nuggets had to close their practice facility yesterday because of a large amount of COVID-19 tests by either the players or the staff members. So that is a big shock. That's a big thing there. And yeah, that's a right now. Pro basketball is a big thing that's going to be affected somewhat. It's going to be something that's going to be looked into. But I'm happy that basketball is going to come back, and there's going to be a bunch of games towards the end of the month, August, and I already know is I'm going to have some fun watching some of those games and see how this goes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am clearly looking forward to that. Now, how about we go into baseball? MLB situation. So, finally, the MLB and the Players Association finally made an agreement that they're planning on having baseball back on the 24th of July. Today, this is the first day I think players can report to their respective training camps and begin spring training. So this is going to be something I don't know. I think some of the proposals I think they were doing like these 10-team central, team free division, 10-team like divisions, and I think that is like, I think all the East teams playing each other, all the central teams, AL and NL, like competing against each other, and I think in the West. So you are probably, I think the games are shortened to 60, I believe. They actually agreed on doing a universal designated hitter thing, which is, I believe, is good because no one wants to see a pitcher try to hit because no one thinks that pitcher is going to hit anything. So let's be honest here, that's less training for pitchers. So I think that works. They are doing an expanded playoff for this season, and yeah, that was a big thing. Was that baseball finally actually making a proposal, finally agreeing on a schedule. So it's 60 games. So that's a good thing about it. The bad, one thing I think negative is the minor league baseball is not happening at all. And that's a big thing that's going to hurt a lot of people. Depends on what club you got. If you depends on, some clubs are going to be hit hard, especially on the A ball and in the rookie levels. You guys, it is bad for y'all because, my apologies, bad for a lot of y'all because it is, you mostly depend on the revenue of the people, and that's a big thing. If no one's going to go to the games, is going to be able to go to games because of that. Even if it's limited if you have it at a limited capacity, but it is going to affect those teams a lot. Those teams, and I think the cities a lot, because a lot of the cities depend on like that team's revenue and like fans coming and all this stuff. It's a big thing. That's a shock. The city of Louisville actually has a minor league team affiliated with the Cincinnati Reds in the Louisville Bats, and I think they're going to be they'll survive somewhat because the city will pretty much help supplant them with money or something to help fund them in a way. But yeah, that's a big thing. That's going to be a huge loss for them. But it's not significant in for AAA and AA leagues. But the single A and the rookie ball leagues are going to be affected hugely because some cities don't have like the corporate revenue or the corporate revenue and like sponsorships and like the AA and AAA leagues have. So it's a bad situation for minor league baseball, and I think one thing is the MLB was planning on cutting the amount of minor league teams down from 160 to 120. So if by the time next season happens, if this whole thing happens, that is practically made that possibility of them doing it more of a reality than a possibility. And that's a big sadness to them. So I will say I'm hoping that hopefully those minor league players, hopefully some of them, I think the Major League Baseball teams have paid some of the minor league players something like stipends and whatnot. I believe they did. So I'm hoping. So that's a good news to hear for them. Some of them kind of did not deserve to. It's a shame for some of those players that aren't getting that chance to, play and develop. And it's a thing. I don't know much about what do you do in that scenario. That's questionable. What you do in that scenario. So yeah, that's a big thing with the whole thing involving the minor league baseball and stuff. So, we're going to move on now. I think a big thing is going to be like soccer has been coming back. I think the big sports that have been coming back is, of course, soccer. That's starting to come back, especially in like Europe, in European leagues, and my apologies. My nose is kind of stuffy. Okay, my apologies there. So yeah, mostly in Europe, soccer has been back, and of course, congratulations to anybody who is a fan of Liverpool. Congratulations on winning the English Premier League. I believe a couple other teams is closing in on championships themselves. I believe Bayern Munich has won the Bundesliga. I believe that's what you call it, the Bundesliga. So congratulations to Bayern Munich for winning that title. I think the La Liga is about to be has a chance of being won by Real Madrid. No, wait, not Real Madrid. Barcelona. Okay, and Barcelona, I believe that's another thing. So, next thing, everything that's been going on is now, of course, MMA has been coming back. The UFC been coming back with fight nights and some of the pay-per-view stuff. And let me tell you, some of these fight nights and the pay-per-views, some of these fights have been absolute bangers, bro. So it's like every week I'm watching some of these and I'm like, geez, these people are really going in on these fights. These are pretty good. And it's interesting, especially when there's no crowd. You can just hear like every punch, every kick, every takedown, like all like the carnage and stuff. It just sounds, it's like amplified, like wonderful. You hardly hear it because of the crowd noise, crowd cheering and stuff. no crowd, you just hear every single punch, and it hits, and you hear this shit just bam, just boom, like that is loud as hell. Like it's crazy, just and it's crazy. Like it's enjoyable. The live fight has been enjoyable. I know this 2 weeks from now is going to be between Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns, the Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway 2, and Patreon and Jose Aldo for the titles are going to be held on the line. Apologies here. I need to plug in my laptop because battery is kind of getting low here. Let me adjust this. Yeah, we're doing this all live. This is all live. There we go. Plugged in. So yeah, that's a big thing. I'm a fighter. So yeah, that's a big thing. MMA's coming back. Boxing's been coming back. Golf's been coming back. NASCAR. The big thing with NASCAR. Especially the whole thing with the bubble walls and the noose. Let me say this. It's a noose. Like in a story. I don't care if it was tied up yesterday or 1997 or whatever. Look, it's a noose. Everyone knows it looks like a noose. It's not some garage pull rope. That's a noose. End of story. Like, I don't care what the FBI says. That is a noose. Someone, if it was tied up around then, I guess that is a coincidence. But honestly, this is stupid. I think it's stupid. I think it's a noose. They should have just taken it down or something. It didn't need to be there. End of story. Period. So that's it of sports. There's gonna be so yeah, that's a good one for. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take a quick little break here, and I think we're gonna move on to probably a topic. I guess we could talk about the whole mask thing. So I think we'll talk about that in about a few seconds. So we'll be right back after these important messages. Don't go anywhere, folks. And welcome back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, I am currently wearing a mask right now. I kind of want to prove a little thing. So the topic today is going to talk about this whole situation involving the mask, like, should you wear it or should you not wear it, and all this stuff. I'm going to talk about this real quick. First, let me take this mask off. I just kind of want to put it on just to prove a point. But one thing about the mask situation, about this, in my opinion, I believe it shouldn't be something that needs to be political. And the thing is, you're not going to be wearing this thing for like all the time, like every time. Like, you can take this off if you go into a grocery store. If you're going to be in there for to get free, 2 free items, you're going to put it on for 5 to 10 minutes. You just put it on for 5 to 10 minutes. Go to your car. After that, you take it off. Okay? At that point, you are free. You don't have to worry about that. If you're going to a restaurant, here's the thing. You're clearly not eating with this thing on. It's not possible. You can't eat anything. You can't drink anything when you're wearing it. Now, I understand how you feel. I get it. But listen, it is something that should be done. In my personal opinion, I can't understand if you feel like, I don't want to wear a mask at all. It's just, I don't feel comfortable wearing it. It's just, I feel like I feel restricted and whatnot. I'm like, listen, I get it. If you don't have a family member who can be affected by it, you're healthy, you are athlete. Here's the truth. Spoiler alert. Anyone needs to understand. This coronavirus doesn't care if you're an athlete, Doesn't care if you never done one sit-up. Doesn't matter if you're like 19 years old, you're in your prime, or you're 80 years old, or you're a smoker, or a drink, or an alcoholic, or whatever you do. If you catch it, it's gonna fuck you up. Period. End of story. So if you really value, like, say, the life of your grandparents, your parents, and like a lot of people, your family, your friends, you want them to catch this thing? I don't. I really can't. I don't want any of this to happen. Like, my father just got about with throat cancer. He's gone through chemo, he's gone through radiation, he's in remission, he's been healthy, and he's pretty much doing fine. He's doing clearly fine. If I catch, let's say, I want to do is somehow I go out, and one day I somehow catch this, and then it affects him, he's going to want to feel it worse. Me, I probably could. Who knows? I might be able to make it out alive. Who knows? My father, he might not. He could die. I do not want him to die. I don't want my sister to die. I don't want to kill my sister. I don't want this to kill my stepmother. As much, sometimes I don't like her all the time. But it is something I do not want anyone to catch. And hopefully, if they do get it, I hope they do recover and are healthy from afterwards. Okay? If you know people that can catch this, who probably has a chance of catching this and are going to be affected by it way worse than anyone else, just wear a mask just for their protection. Think of that person as as your kid, as your child. Think of that little child as your child. Think of that old lady as your grandma, or your mother, or your grandma. Okay? Think of the person that's around your age. That could be your brother. That could be your sister. That could be your friend. Heck, that could be your husband. Or your wife. So, think about that first. Do you want to be a part of a solution or part of a problem? One part of a solution is this mask. I highly recommend you guys wear a mask. And here's the thing: if people say "Oh, wearing a mask kind of makes you lose oxygen levels," and there are people. I've seen videos of people who has some bad upper respiratory illnesses and disorders and whatnot, and some of them are pretty much regular masks regularly. Some of them have done tests to show their oxygen levels without the mask on, and there are some that have shown do it without the mask on. With the mask on, running around, walking, doing stuff, doing some vigorous physical activity, and it's not doing a goddamn thing to them. It is honestly not doing a thing to it. The oxygen level stays the same. So, if you think you can't wear a mask, you think you have trouble breathing with a mask on, it's actually a lie. There's no more excuses. Wear a mask. Stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wash your hands regularly. Use some hand sanitizer. Sometimes, if you don't have access to soap and water, just do some things to keep yourself safe. That's all I'm saying. Do some things that keep yourself safe from the world. And that's something we all need to do. I highly recommend this. Be careful, alright? So, I'm going to go ahead and get that out. That was my little PSA there. And my little rant on that topic. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead take a quick break. It's just a short one. So I think we're gonna move on to another segment that's been going on, and that's the recent rise. I think we talked about the recent rise that's been going on in Florida and Texas, and I think another state. I think Arizona maybe. So huge issues like this. This is big. This is the start of the second wave here. So I think stuff is being reopened up. I'm like really. Kentucky isn't as bad right now, but it is. There's a chance it's gonna be worse. It's gonna happen. That second wave won't hit hard. I know it. I'm not worried about a lot of things like restaurants. I'm not really worried about it. I'm like I'm pretty much most of the time I'm cooking my own food because I'm dieting. I only have one cheat meal a week. If I have to, if I'm going to have a cheat meal, I'm at least order in. I would at this point order in at this point. Um, I'm not worried much about like shops being open. Some kids you can just buy online. There's nothing wrong with that, and have it delivered to your house. I'm not that much concerned about it, really. Video games like GameStop. Let's be honest here. Free GameStop stores by my here in the city has closed down. It's closing down because of lack of sales or not. So bye bye. I can buy my stuff digitally. So not that much to worry about it. The only thing I am kind of worried about closing again, and because I pretty much kind of need this thing has only one of a few things I kind of use to work out in. So, and that's gyms. So, yeah, like YMCA been closed up for a bit. So before quarantine, I was at 280. Weighed at 280. Lost because I was at I think 295, 296 ish, and so I lost like 15 pounds. 15 pounds anyway. So I was doing so far pretty good. Then quarantine, I kind of gained all that weight. Kind of gained that weight back, and some. So yeah, now the gym's back open, I'm pretty much going back to the gym. I'm trying to at least lose this weight again, lose this extra weight I carried on me, and a lot of things. So that's the only thing I do. Because if gyms goes back again, I am probably just like saying I'm pretty much going into like, you know what, I'm going full fledged fucking mode. Just your boy's practically ordering Buffalo Wild Wings, Hooters, bunch of fast food and shit. From like fuck the diet at this point, just fuck it all. So that's me. So hopefully, I'm hoping if you are going to do stuff, this needs like just wear a mask. I say to anyone, just wear a mask, socially distance yourself. If you are feeling sick in any way, shape, or form, stay at home. Please, just stay at home. Okay. Just stay at home, isolate yourself, quarantine yourself in your houses. If you have to travel, just travel. Please be essential, like you're getting some groceries, or getting some groceries, you have to stop at the bank or stuff like that. Like, keep it like simple stuff. Like, it's just go in, do what you gotta do, get out, go back home, stay inside, stay hydrated, and everything. Probably have take some multivitamins and everything. Take your multivitamins. That's what I need to take, which I actually just forgot. So that just gave me a good reminder. Yeah, just do that. Just do that. Stay inside, because this is something that needs to go. I don't know when this vaccine's coming. I don't think we all know when it's coming. We're waiting for one. So right now, we just need to stay inside, wait, let and I'm hoping our president, this idiot here, actually lets the actual experts do their goddamn jobs and not him tell us when to go back outside and let us do the normal things we used to do again. So, end of story. I'm going to go ahead on that. I'm going to end it right there on that little segment right there. We'll move on. We're going to move on. I think we're going to take a quick, I'm going to take a quick break. This is going to be like probably the last one. And then I think the last few minutes we're going to probably talk about I think, or maybe, or actually, is there anything else I have left to talk about? I think that's about it, actually, sadly. So, I think that's it. So, we've been on this thing for like an hour and some change. I think we pretty much covered a good amount of stuff. Hopefully I'm gonna be doing some more things probably pretty soon. So thank you guys very much for watching. This is the very first episode of the J Money Podcast and counting. So far this is not gonna be this is background will probably be different sometime later on, because I'm going to be moving soon to a new apartment. To an apartment of my own. So yes, background might look different next, probably by episode number 6, I guess. 6, 7-ish. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Anyway, go ahead. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my vacation day, my off day working out. I think the next episode I could talk about my diet. What I do in terms of staying in shape. My main thing is simple. Number one thing, drinking plenty of water. Instead of drinking regular sodas like the regular Cokes and the regular Mountain Dews, get you some 0-calorie sodas. I know people are going to talk about the artificial sweeteners. The Mountain Dew zero sugar tastes like regular Mountain Dew, just no sugar, just all the caffeine, just no sugar, and no calories, baby. Okay, that at least cut my meats. The amount what protein I have, I pretty much only have like white meats, like pretty much chicken, turkey, fish, those good things, those proteins there. So that's the kind of around there. I have some vegetables, decent amount of vegetables. At least get my grains at least a good amount. Actually, I'll break down something I have. I did make a little PowerPoint, but it's actually on my tablet. I might need to do something where I could actually integrate that into my, I'll probably integrate that PowerPoint to you, but it's pretty much, I can give you guys a good short breakdown. I have my notes. Let me look into my notes here. So at the start of the cut, I weighed in at 295 pounds. So this is how I do. If you want to figure out like the amount of calories you can be cutting on, like or in this case your total energy expenditure. This is what you have. So with the start of the cut, which was 5 weeks ago, it is at 295 pounds. So what you do is you take your weight and you multiply this by either 10, 11, or 12. This depends on like your activity level outside of your general activity level, outside of like your job, outside of going to the gym every day. So, for example, I'm at number 10, which is not active. So that's like you're pretty sitting there. Like outside of this, aside from my going to the gym, afterwards I don't do much of anything. I'm either playing some video games, I'm watching some TV, might be, just chilling in my bed doing hardly anything. So I'm at 10. That's my activity level outside of gym. That is at 10. Number 11 is kind of active. And what is a kind of active job? Let's say, for example, kind of active job is you work at, say, your grocery store, and half the time you're you're a cashier, you're at the register just chilling, staying there chilling. And then the other half of the day, your shift, you're help pushing the carts back inside in the store. That's a kind of active job. Number 12 is very active, and that's if you're a package handler at UPS, or you're working at the Amazon warehouses. By the way, I believe you guys deserve better, way better, especially at UPS. UPS is included, so yes. So that's my thing, and I actually work at UPS, but I actually work more or less like an office job, so that's why I'm at 10 still. So what you do is you take that number of calories, so you take that pound, your weight, which is 295, and you multiply that by 10, and you will get 2,950, which is what I'm allowed to at least eat. That's my calorie deficit. That's the amount my total energy expenditure there. So what do you do in terms of macros? Now, how do you turn that into macros? Or in this case, how many grams carbs, how many grams fat, how many grams protein, stuff. So one of the things is, the most recommended thing if you're doing a diet is 40% protein, 40% carbs, and 20% fat. Me, I kind of like to keep my carbs a little lower than the protein. Protein you always want to keep high, because the more protein you have in a diet, your body burns more calories. Your body warms up more, and it's pretty much involving protein. Like literally, if you take someone who has been on a higher protein diet, and someone who has diet high in fats, if you take their percentages and you, excuse me, my mouth is kind of getting a little dry here. Okay. Jeez, focus. Okay. So you take your you pretty much want to keep fat low. That's of course obvious, but you don't want to have it too low, because that is, if you're a man, you want to keep fat around because it helps with testosterone. That's something you kind of need. Protein you want to keep high because if you are on a higher diet of protein, your body temperature increases. It pretty much has to work to burn protein off. It's hard to burn protein off, so that's why fat is it helps burn fat more and stuff. So it's kind of helpful. Hey, fat, and you kind of want you need to have carbs because you kind of need to keep, because that's a big source of energy. And you kind of need to keep the glycogen stores and whatnot together. So that part is vital. Is key vital. Very vital. Now there are diets like keto diet, carnivore diet, which does not a lot of carbs whatsoever, but in some cases you kind of need the carbs. So, but in this particular case, you kind of need carbs. So what I'm doing, my diet, I have 25% is from fat, 40% of my calories are from protein, and 35% is from carbs. Them tasty carbs, my friends. So what you do is you take because of this is what you do, like the calories stuff. So you take, if you want to know how many calories are fat, you take the 2950 and you multiply that by 0.25, that equates to 738 calories. Now for protein, you multiply that 2950 by 0.40, which is going to equal to 1,180 calories. And then for carbs, you take the 2950, multiply that by 0.35, and that equals to 1,033 calories. So what you do now, you turn those calories into grams. So now you got those macros up. Now this is how you turn it into grams. So in protein and carbs, 4 calories equates to 1 gram of fat, 1 gram of protein, carbs, and fat is the one odd man out, where it takes 9 calories to make up 1 gram of fat. So go figure, right? So this is what you do. So you do is take the 738 calories that is used for fat, and you divide that by 9, which is of course the amount of calories to make the fat. That's the amount in there. That equates to 82 grams. For protein, you take the 1180 and you divide that by 4, which is going to equate to 295 grams. And then for carbs, take 1,033 and divide that by 4, and that's going to even out to 258 grams. Awesome. So yeah, my macros, it is 82 grams fat, 295 grams protein, and 258 grams carbs. That's gonna be the big thing. That's the big key thing here. So what's my cardio? What's my workout schedule on normal days? So it's me. I work out on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So Wednesday and Saturday are rest days. So Monday, I do my chest and triceps, chest, triceps, you know, simple pro split. Tuesday, which was yesterday, I did my back and biceps. My back feels look good. On Thursday, I do full arm workout. That means arm, biceps, triceps, wrist, forearm, those things. I've also heard there's some armpit exercises. I don't know how that works. If anyone knows how that works, let me know in the comment section below. Friday, work on the shoulders. Dedicate a day to the shoulders. You gotta dedicate a day to shoulders. If you want those motherfuckers to be round, to pop, and late underwear drop, highly recommend shoulders. I recommend do shoulders. And then on Saturday, it is the dreaded leg day. I also do that, and I do a good amount of core stuff, body stuff, which I'm kind of going to be trying to focus on that a lot, because one thing is, your boy got a little gaga, so I need to work on the, excuse me, probably going to edit that out, anyway, but yeah, leg day, that's going to be a day I work. This is also my Saturday, is also my cheat day, so on that day, I kind of try to do the most things, benefit use. Also, I fast all day that Saturday, and then I enjoy a crazy cheat meal. So yeah, that's my cheat day. That's I do my cheat day, and then rest on Sunday. So yeah, cardio, I do 30 minutes on all those days, except for Saturday. I don't do any cardio because, like I said, I do legs and I'm doing a lot of core stuff. At that point, I'm pretty much when I'm doing the core stuff, some of the stuff is gonna be timed anyway. So it's gonna be timed anyway. So some of the stuff is probably gonna be low key hit cardio. So that's already done off rip. So okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. So that's my thing there. So yeah, I'm hopefully, last time I did this, I actually did, when I did New Zealand macros before, I actually found out, here's what it was. I had it at 1,000, I ended up lowering macros down to like 278, 77 grams fat, and 243 grams protein. Carbs. So yeah, this was me on February 12th, so I had it set at a good. I was doing good so far before this cut happened, before the quarantine happened. So yeah, so that's something I noticed now. I just noticed that actually. So yeah, something with my eyes, mainly. Sorry, my eyes curve, and sometimes, yeah, and as somehow I have very effeminate eyebrows. That is something no one knows that, so I want to get that out there. Okay, I think that is it. So thank you guys very much for watching the very first J Money Talks podcast. This is episode 1 and counting. Thank you guys very much. Too sweet to the camera. Thank you guys very much for watching. I am J Money. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week for another exciting edition. Till then, take care, guys. Peace.